Dogs again. I'm back here where I keep my truck camper stored. Somebody mentioned on do-it-yourself solar farm about charging a 24 volt system off of 12 volts, and usually the recommendation is to use a DC to DC charger. And I looked at those. Usually you're limited to 30 amps output on 24 volts, and a lot of them I looked at were like 400 and some dollars a piece. So, if I wanted high amp charging, that would take two of them, usually in parallel, and it gets a little expensive. So I decided I'd come up with a different idea, and I put dual alternators on this truck, and hope you enjoy my solution. Thanks. So this is the engine compartment here on my 2002 Duramax. I haul my truck camper on. This is a Duramax equipped truck, and dual alternators was a factory option, although when I bought this truck it didn't have dual alternators. And you can see over there, I think that's 130 amp. Optional was 160 or something like that. And then over here I have an aftermarket 250. The bracket here was bought right from GM, as were the bolts. It's going to cost you about $16 that bracket. I've seen guys on YouTube spend hours trying to make a bracket, and I'm like, boy, that's insane. But these will cost more than, because you got to buy a box or package of 5, and it'll cost you about 20 bucks. The factory casting there all has it in there, and you got to have for any of you guys with the Duramax that want to do this, you got to add another idler pulley, and you need the longer belt for the dual alternator. But it was a factory option, so everything's readily available. I have a fuse mounted here, and the junction box is here. I just went into there for charging, and then I got it unplugged here. I'm going to add a switch in the dash someday, so I can excite the coil. I just bought a harness and teed it into the other alternator, and when I'm running, if I'm not using the inverter, I just leave it unplugged. Doesn't bother anything, and then if that alternator went out, I still have a backup on this side, so this way I'd know the one alternator wasn't working. From there it goes over here to this big battery switch, and it's a Fastronics. And then I have a push button here for a pre-charge circuit, and I have a resistor mounted underneath here, but I'm going to take that out, I think, and just go with a 12 volt light bulb. I do have an A&L fuse in here. This was done, 3-4 years ago, and it's going to be gone here eventually. I'll end up putting probably Class T in there or something. I don't even know why I have it in there, other than the fact that it's tied into this box. See, and I got a junction. So from there, the cables run here down to the frame and then up into the back seat area. So I'll show that next. So here in the back seat area of my truck, I use to haul my truck camper. I took the back seat out, and I have a Dometic freezer refrigerator here on a platform in the back seat, and then behind that I have this inverter. I made a bracket here and just used like where the seat belt holes were, the bolt, and then just used another self-threading leg on the other one. Bottom bolts to the seat bolt bolts that were in the floor, and then on this side we've got 2-aught cable, and it comes from up in the engine compartment, and I run it down through, and I use the cable gland where it goes through the floor there. Make sure you tie it good and put some covers on it. Make sure they're tied on there so you don't get any shorts. On the other side of the inverter is a 30 amp RV cord, and that runs through the floor, and I use a cable gland there also. It's a nice big one. So maybe that'll give you some ideas on how to do this. So we're here at the back bumper area, and that's where the cord runs to. I just made a little bracket here that went on my trailer hitch in the back, and then I put a box, got a 30 amp receptacle in there, and I just run a short cord up the back here and screws on here, and that's how I get power to my grow watt on the AC side. So it's like having a short power connection, and can charge up to 60 amps using my grow watt on 24 volts. So that's about 1500 watts. So with the dual alternator setup, it's not a problem. So hopefully this gives you some ideas on how to do yours, but I found it works really well. One advantage of a setup like this is it gives me a spare inverter. If something were to happen to my inverter in my camper and it went down, I'd have a spare inverter to use until we can make it home. So If you like what you see here, hit the like button, subscribe. I got more content coming. Until next time, catch some rays, and we'll see you later. Bye.